900 plus horsepower off-road trucks barreling down the dirt track of the infamous Big House. The biggest Pro 2 and Pro 4 drivers in the sport face a land rush start, sweeping turns, high-speed straightaways, and fly through the air in hopes of capturing the most prestigious trophy in all of short course racing. This is the Crandon World Cup, and you are watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
You got a little, you can use much more.
Hey everybody, Salema Masekela here, your host of the Red Bull Signature Series, and welcome to the Big House, Crandon International Off-Road Raceway in northern Wisconsin, home to the pinnacle of short course off-road truck racing, the Crandon World Cup, which begins its next chapter, moving from one half-century of competitions into the next. Now, Crandon has always been unique in that it is the only place where East meets West. Both short course off-road truck series drivers make it a point to race in this event. In addition to the two regions coming together, it is also where Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks compete against each other. After a weekend of racing in their respective classes, it culminates with a time delay land rush start, reaching speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, heading into turn 1, and then the chase is on. The big news, after some massive crashes earlier in the weekend, former Crandon Cup champions and favorites Bryce Menzies and Johnny Greaves are out. This is leaving the door wide open for some other past winners like CJ Greaves, Keegan Kincaid, Kyle LeDuc, Rob McCachran. Freestyle motocross legends Brian Deegan and Travis Pastrana, they are here and they have their own Clash of the Titans going on with a whole $1 on the line between them. Of course, defending champion RJ Anderson hopes to reach the rarefied air of back-to-back wins on top of the podium. We have a green flag that is about to drop on the Pro 2 final, so we're going to check in with Jack Nichols and the Desert Assassin, my good friend Cameron Steele, with the call.
Thank you, Salema. So we've got 3 races coming up today, each with a spectacular land rush start. All the trucks will be side by side at over 100 miles an hour coming into turn 1, and getting that whole shot will be extremely important. Keeping us up to date throughout the action today will be Tina Dixon.
And Jack, drivers keep saying they cannot wait to get out on the track and start racing. There is such a high level of anticipation for this event, more than I have seen in previous years. You know, 2020, some of the events have been canceled or postponed, and top drivers have been left without that opportunity to get behind the wheel. So they are biting at the bit to get out there and perform, including defending Cup champion RJ Anderson, who said, "I wouldn't miss this race for the world. I got to put a stamp on last year's win." Jack, the drivers are ready to go racing.
They certainly are. We're going to have the first 2 races, which will be for the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s. Both will be 9 laps with a mandatory caution at lap 5. And then the final results will be the start list for the Cup race later on. And Cameron, we've got some really big names in this Pro 2 field.
Absolutely, we do. And if you look from left to right, that's how they've been the fastest so far through this week. On the inside, Jarrett Brooks. Next to him, Doug Mittag. Then Keegan Kincaid and Rob McCachran. That's just 4 of our drivers, and they are all capable of winning. Those are your 4 quickest so far. And when the land rush start goes off, green flag, I'm telling you, your hair will stand up if you are a driver like you are on fire. Taking a look at some of our drivers, Pastrana, Kincaid, on board should be incredible. And we are green flag racing. It's time to go.
Who's going to get the whole shot then? The land rush start in the Pro 2s coming into the right-hander. It's Jarrett Brooks in the red truck on the far left. He has the inside line, but around the outside goes Doug Mittag.
Stay right on the inside there. Stay on the inside. It's good in there.
Some nice onboards as Mittag controls through 2, out and around the barn turn.
Stay right in the bottom. There you go. Looking good. +1 to Brooks. +1 to Brooks. He's right behind you. Looking to the outside. You're clear. Looking in. Drive hard out. Clear.
So Kincaid's made a great start then. He's up into second place. He's clear of Brook, but out in front is Doug Mittag, who's pulling away pretty quickly. There goes Brook to the inside of Kincaid as they come past the timing tower on the right-hand side. And over the finish line to start this next loop, and these two are right together for second position.
And it looks like Brooks is all over him. And that was a weird line. Kincaid seemed to be outside just a little bit more, and he may have a problem. Brooks dropping to the inside to make the pass. Will he have the momentum coming out of the turn? And he does. And it looks like, yes, Kincaid has a flat tire.
Oh, you got a flat, bud. He gave you a flat. Just watch out, all the trucks on the outside. A lot of trucks outside, a lot of trucks just stay way close, way close. Don't even try to cross the track, stay way inside. There you go.
Well, what a shame that is for Keegan Kincaid, the 29-year-old from Crandon, a real home hero, and he is out of the running for this Pro 2 race straight away. He'll still hopefully get to run in the Cup race later on, but Doug Midtag it is who's leading. We're currently looking at McCachran here, who is a multiple winner of this event, swinging through the left-hander up by the barn and then out over the line again. 3 World Cup winners for the 55-year-old, over 200 short course wins as well. A real legend of the sport. And there, back into the hot pits comes Kincaid. Such a shame for him.
A heartbreaker for sure. That's going to be start position for the Cup race, but the good news is he'll have a complete truck to go racing as we watch Midtag and Brooks throwing down. Of course, these two young guns have all the speed and are totally capable of taking the top spot.
Yeah, fantastic race between these two, isn't it? They're out in front in the Pro 2 race at the moment, and quite a comfortable margin over third. Let's go down to Tina Dixon.
And Jack, I want to point out that as we're listening to the radio from the teams, I am not hearing anything from Doug Midtag. Now, that's because they're having a radio issue. It looks like they're not going to be able to fix that problem before the mandatory caution. So he is actually out in the lead right now and doing this all on his own.
How tough is that going to be, Cameron, to be without a spotter?
For sure, it's really hard to tell what's going on the track and where your nemesis is going to try to strike. You see Brooks is going to come down on the inside and hang right behind him. Look how close he is to that wall in one, and now he's going to try to slingshot around, but his spotter is not there to tell him what's going on.
Okay, leader went to lane 1.5 and the sweeper gained a lot on entry, 1.5. You're 2.5 there. They made a pretty good run. They gave a little up on exit, but they made about 1.5 car lengths.
And that is the information that Doug Midtag is missing out on there. He's being told, Travis Pastrana, how he can improve his lap time, how he can get a little closer to the trucks in front. But there comes Midtag. Closely following him is Jarrett Brooks, the 23-year-old from California, the reigning Lucas Oil's Pro 2 champion, and he is hunting him down. Doug Midtag continues to dominate the Pro 2 race, and without a spotter, Brooks and the other drivers, though, can he hold them off? Stick with us. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. The Crandon World Cup, a part of the Red Bull Signature Series, is sponsored by Yokohama, Go Strong. By Polaris, Think Outside. By Vision Wheel, Join the Vision. And by Fox, Redefine Your Limits, Ride Fox. Lap 3 of the Pro 2 Championship race here at Crandon, and Doug Midtag is the man leading the way, but he is only just ahead of Jarrett Brooks. They're having a fantastic race here, the two of them. Midtag just holding on. There's a little bit of bodywork coming away on his right-hand side, but that won't bother him too much as they swing past the tree again. This is a great fight between the two of them, Cameron.
Certainly is, and we got some contact. Jarrett Brooks making a little bit of touch as they come back on the where the land rush start was. And Brooks is going to have the run on the inside.
Through he comes, but there comes Midtag back to the inside, and Brooks is slowing, is he? Brooks looks like he was suddenly slowing down a little bit. The spotters tower are all having a look because Doug Midtag now is all by himself. What happened here?
Let's take another look and see if he made contact with the wall. And yes, he did. He kissed it on the inside. And you saw that front tire and wheel wobble, so something is broken in the front of Brooks' truck, and that's going to leave Midtag to run amok for a second as he doesn't have anybody directly behind him.
So Doug Midtag then out in front, still got that bodywork damage, but he's got a fairly comfortable margin as he comes across the line again to start another lap, dominating this race now that Brooks is going to be out of contention. But let's catch up and find out a little more about what happened to Keegan Kincaid.
And Jack, normally after a flat tire, we would see Keegan Kincaid come back out to finish. He knows how important it is to secure that starting position for the Cup race. His team, however, wants him to be done save the truck, and we're also getting word they're having a brake line issue. So at this point, they're going to wait, get the truck ready for the Cup race later on.
Thank you, Tina. So we'll hopefully see Keegan Kincaid back out later on. Doug Mittag leading the way. We're on lap 4 of 9 now, and at the end of this lap, there will be a mandatory caution, so the advantage he has will disappear.
You're gaining on him on entries. Don't get down too soon. If you can get sucked up on him, then that's where we can go below him a little bit into the sweeper here. Not stay with the cushion and then beat him into the gravel pit. You're gonna go low in the gravel pit. There's not a lot of grip down there. It's all marbles. So cushion's moving up to about lane 3.5. You have no pressure behind you by about 20 car lengths. Okay, last time you pulled down off of this a little too soon. Get against the cushion on the landing right here, then turn. There you go, way better.
And a great story having Corey Winter back out on the track after breaking his back earlier in the season in the 67. He's being chased by the legend Travis Pastrana, and I love hearing Travis's spotter giving him some input. You know, this isn't an everyday occurrence for Travis to be driving a Pro 2, and oh, what a bummer. Mickey Thomas off track. Hopefully that's something they can get righted to bring him back for the Cup race. But he won't have a great start position if he comes back. But getting back to this battle, McCachran, Winter, and Pastrana all close together, just back off of Mittag. And of course, McCachran, the legend of off-road racing, whether it's short course or in Baja, multi-time Baja 1000 winner. I've banged doors with him for many, many years in the trophy trucks, and you know, it's fun, but at the same time, it's very serious, and Rob is one heck of a serious competitor.
Certainly is, and he's running in second spot at the moment, ahead of Winner and Pastrana, and they're all going to close in before too long because we're approaching the point of the mandatory caution, which won't happen in the Cup race later on, but it will happen in the Pro 2 and the Pro 4 championship races at the end of the 4th lap. Here comes McCachran then with Winner right behind, and then Travis Pastrana a little bit further back. And there is the caution then. So everybody will close up to the back of Mittag, whose truck is looking a little bit worse for wear, but he's got a commanding lead since the whole shot. But the pack will now regroup for the mandatory caution. With 4 laps to go, can Mittag break away again and hold off the others to become Pro 2 champion? You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is the Crandon World Cup from the Big House. The Pro 2 race is in the midst of the mandatory caution. Race leader Doug Mittag remains up front, but the gap between him and the other drivers has been eliminated. It's anyone's race once the pace truck releases the pack and the green flag drops with 4 laps to go. Doug Mittag leading, Rob McCachran in second, Corey Winner in third as they pull away from the line again. There's the 199 of Travis Pastrana. But before the action starts, let's get down to Tina Dixon and find out the latest from the track.
And during that mandatory caution, Travis Pastrana, who's currently running in 4th, just told his team, nice job, guys, top 5. This is exactly where we want to be. He also asked how far behind Brian Deegan was. Remember, those two go way back to those freestyle motocross days. But for this weekend, they have a bet going on. Whoever loses the race has to pay the other driver a whole $1.
Well, we'll keep an eye out on that battle as the race gets green flagged again, and Doug Mittag leads them away. McCachran in second position, Corey Winner third, Travis Pastrana in 4th place. The answer to his question is that Brian Deegan is running in 6th spot at the moment as we get going again down towards the gravel pit, swinging into that left-hander, all of them following one another mostly.
Got to protect inside, protect. Good job, still looking inside. You just stay in your grip. You got one to your left, stay in your grip. Out deep him and go to the cushion. He's still there, he's still there. There, okay, blend on up, blend on up. There you go, you're good. Now you're clear. Now you got to do not turn down too early, get straight here. Got to get on cushion. No, you got to go on the racetrack. Go on the racetrack so you can get back to the hot pit. It's clear, it's clear, it's clear. It's a right front tire, guys.
Oh, and there's trouble for Travis Pastrana. The front right looks like maybe the tire's gone down. Real shame for him.
One thing you got to watch out here is side loading the tires. I mean, remember, this is a DOT tire, which means not a race engineered tire. For all the vehicles are running on DOT tires. So it's a change that's happened over the last couple years, but something to watch for, as Pastrana had a lot of pressure from the 42 of Kleinman, and he makes the move, obviously, as Travis pulls out to the side. And we just heard Travis talking about how he wanted to be in that top 5 for the start in the Cup race later in the afternoon. The good news is all he needs is a tire, and he can make the start of the Cup race.
So Doug Mittag is the man leading the way at the moment on lap 6 of 9. There is Winner running in 3rd place. McCachran still in 2nd position. It promotes Kleinman up into 4th spot then, that retirement for Travis Pastrana. And the question is, can anyone close in on Doug Mittag? He's having such a strong run at the moment. He's been racing professionally since he was 14 years old. He was 3rd in the Lucas Oil's Pro 4 Championship in 2019, but at the moment he's looking very strong. But as you mentioned earlier on, Cameron, that man in 2nd place, McCachran, has a lot of experience.
He certainly does, and here's where experience also comes in. You may not like to hear it, but Rob McCachran knows the 2nd starting position on the line for the Cup race in the Pro 2 line is not a bad place to start, so there's no reason to use up his vehicle or smash on it to get past Mittag for that 1st spot. So experience may play into that kind of decision making as well, where he just wants to keep Corey Winner behind him, but not necessarily chase down Doug Mittag. And of course, Rob Mack wants to win every race, but it's the race later in the day that Rob Mack wants to win.
Yeah, and Doug Mittag actually started in the 2nd spot for this Pro 2 race, didn't he? And managed to get the whole shot ahead of Jarrett Brooks. So it certainly is a good place to start. There is Corey Winner, still running in 3rd place at the moment. He's got Kleinman just behind him a little bit. Interested in what you were just saying there, Cameron. So how important is this Pro 2 championship for someone like Doug Mittag compared to Rob McCachran?
Well, I think the same is true for both. They always want to win the race, but they don't want to use up their truck when they're trying to get to that Cup race. So the championship for the Pro 2 is important, and of course they want to win, but maybe it's the Cup race they want just a little bit more.
Through comes Kleinman then, running in that 4th spot now that Travis Pastrana was eliminated a few laps ago, and he's trying to make his way a little bit further up the field. The 2017 TORC Pro Light champion. He was 4th in the Crandon World Cup last year, and there is Pastrana. He's back on his way then. He's a couple of laps down in 13th place, but he's still getting some more mileage, and it sounded like that mileage is going to be very useful to him as he turns his attention to yet another new adventure. Travis Pastrana, absolutely incredible in everything he does, and that's a little bit of a slow one at the cowboy corner for Kleinman, but he holds the place at the moment.
Kleinman trying to rotate and make it down to the bottom. He's looking to gain position. He would like to get by Winner. As we're watching here, this is Ryan Beat on Brian Deegan. And we haven't heard a lot from Ryan Beat in this race so far, but he is running right on the back door of Deegan, and he's going to look to go to the inside here in 2 and make his point. And oh, he doesn't even really make the turn as Deegan left the door way open. And interesting contact there between the two. It looks like no damage to either vehicle. We'll have to see if the number 38 gets off pace here.
It was a pretty big hit, wasn't it, on the side of Beat, but it looks as though he's managed to keep going. That's 6th position now for him, ahead of Deegan. There's the white flag for Doug Mittag in the lead of the race. So 1 more lap to go. McCachran just over a second behind him at the line. He's managed to drop Corey Winner a little bit with Kleinman in 4th position, but this is going to be a big moment for Doug Mittag. Yes, it'll be a spot for him in the Cup race later on today, but it will also be his first win at Crandon if he can hold on for this final lap. Very, very impressive stuff from Mittag. He got the whole shot ahead of Jarrett Brooks, who's been the quickest driver, you'd say, over the course of the weekend so far, but now he's on the final run towards this right-hander at corner 1, and he should be able to see this through, you'd think, and I think we're going to have a very happy 25-year-old from California after this one.
Yeah, Mittag just has a great attitude, great driving style, but when he gets out of the truck, he's all smiles, always stoked, and seems to have a kind word for everyone. He's one of the drivers I really like to talk to because he gives great insight, and he drives that back into the truck as he's setting up for the race. As you see him moving out wide here in the gravel pit, he's headed for that final turn in the checkered flag, and Mittag looks like he's clear. Rob Mack's not close enough to strike.
Mittag towards the final corner one last time, and the Pro 2 champion at Crandon 2020 is Doug Mittag. The checker flag falls. Superb victory, got the whole shot, held the lead after some decent pressure from Rob McCachran, who finishes in second place. Corey Winner across the line in third, and those will be the top three at the start line for the Cup race later on. Great performance, Cameron, from Doug Mittag.
Absolutely. I mean, that's textbook, right? As a race car driver, you want to get the whole shot. You want to have no contact and be able to run out front the entire time and then cross the checker line first. And he did all of those. I mean, checked all the boxes. And there's that smile I was talking about. Always in a good mood, always super happy. And Doug Mittag's going to have that pole position start for the Cup race on the Pro 2 line.
So he hauls himself out of the truck, gives it a pat for good measure, and absolutely delighted to win the Pro 2 championship. He's still got the Cup race to come later on, finishing 1.6 seconds in the end ahead of Rob McCachran, with Corey Winner finishing in third. Pastrana finished a couple of laps down in 12th position, so it's Deegan who takes the first win in their little mini battle. But now let's hear from the race winner in the Pro 2 championship. Doug Mittag is with Tina Dixon.
And Doug Mittag finally gets a win here at Crandon. You got the whole shot, led the entire race. How key was that for you?
You want to know a funny story? I didn't have a spotter that whole race, so I got that whole shot and I was by myself out there. It immediately came back in the competition caution, and I knew Brooks was charging hot, obviously, when he got up by me, but before that I had no idea he was even there, so I was kind of just running my pace, and then he showed his nose in there. I was like, holy crap, we gotta go. So we stepped it right back up, got back by him. I don't know what happened to him, bummer deal, but I'm so stoked. This win has taken me so long. I raced here, like you said, for 6 years, and I came in second so many places, so many times, and to come out here and win in front of you guys in a brand new truck that my team worked so hard on is unreal to me. I am so stoked.
So Doug Mittag manages to hold on and drive a flawless race. Now the big house awaits the start of the Pro 4s. Who will earn top spot? A Crandon World Cup ring and the coveted P1 for the final Cup race. When we return, the green flag drops. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series from northern Wisconsin at the iconic Crandon International Raceway, aka the Big House. The Crandon World Cup is the top off-road short course race of the year. East versus West, the Pro 4 class is on the start line. Once again, it's a 9-lap race as it was for the Pro 2s. There'll be a mandatory caution on lap 5, and the final results will be the start list for the Cup race later on. We had big names in Pro 2. We got big names in Pro 4 as well, Cameron.
Oh, and all the way to the inside, the always speedy Kyle LeDuc. Next to him, local favorite CJ Greaves, and last year's winner RJ Anderson in the mix. And oh, great jump in that P2. Let's see who gets to the inside of turn 1 first.
Greaves has got a good start, but it is Kyle LeDuc who gets the whole shot, holds the lead into corner number 1. Now they come up towards the barn turn here, the long left-hander, and Greaves slots into second, although he tries to get up the inside. Little bit of contact. Great racing early on.
A little rubbing here and there is what it's all about, as we see 2 different lines going down into the gravel pit. Look at CJ setting up outside, Kyle LeDuc to the bottom, and you see him having to redirect just a little bit. So different lines of racing means there's some passing opportunities as they drag race back up towards where the finish line will be. Look at this rotation early from Kyle.
Kyle LeDuc then holding the lead for the time being, but CJ Greaves is right up behind him as they get air and then swing into the left-hander.
No pressure. There's our lane 1 to lane 2. Lane 2 and down on entry. Lane 4. Pressure behind, up by about 8.
Andrew Carlson spotter giving him some information as we jump to the front. Look at the rotation by LeDuc here and what they're now calling Cowboy Corner, but CJ Greaves does not get the rotation. I'm not sure what happened there, but he had to straighten the truck out.
Tina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Cameron. We are already seeing a very motivated Kyle LeDuc. Let's go back to 2019 when at the finish line, Him and Andrew Carlson crashed. He rolled his truck, and that put him out for the rest of the weekend. So it looks like he's seeking some serious redemption. Now, keep in mind, he's already been racing in that Midwest Series. He's got a lot of laps under his belt, more than some of these other drivers. I'd say it's showing out there.
Kyle LeDuc in a very, very strong position at the moment through the gravel pit, and he's starting to build a bit of a margin now, isn't he?
Oh, hard landing there too. You gotta be careful of those trucks. You want them to race not only this entire race, but then the Cup race, and you have big hard landings that can damage, especially the four-wheel drive systems.
There's RJ Anderson in the 37 truck. He is trying to keep ahead of Andrew Carlson in the 15 at the moment.
Still clear by 5 out the back. Pressure behind you. Let's just keep clicking off smooth laps here, brother. Out the back 10. Don't be afraid to open this up, especially on exit. Hey, a reminder, turn 2, RJ is too high by 1 whole car width. You need to get down 1 car width. 2, lane 2.
Carlson being given a lot of information there over the radio from his spotter, isn't he?
He certainly is, and you also saw Carlson protecting his visor, trying to save his tear-offs.
He's on board with RJ Anderson, looking back at Carlson, trying to attack as they come through the gravel pit again. And they are having a good fight here over what is third position. LeDuc pulling away from Greaves at the moment up at the front.
Good look at Carlson. Now he's trying to push forward to that third position. Watching RJ race and talking to him, you know, he's in it to win it when it comes to the Cup race.
Clear by 10 still. No pressure behind.
Andrew Carlson then chasing the current top 3, all Cup champions before, RJ Anderson, CJ Greaves, and the unstoppable Kyle LeDuc. Which of these heavyweights will wind up on top? Pro 4 racing continues. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is the Crandon World Cup from the Big House in northern Wisconsin. Lap 3 of 9 of the Pro 4 racing is underway. Former Crandon Cup winners all up front, with Kyle LeDuc leading, CJ Greaves in second, and RJ Anderson in third. Running in fourth is Minnesota native Andrew Carlson as they swing around Cowboy Corner once more. LeDuc's lead at the end of that last lap was up to 3 seconds over CJ Greaves, but the fight for third is pretty tight. Anderson just ahead of Carlson as they swing through the right-hander.
The leader lands in lane 3 and stays just below the cushion. All the way around this corner. RJ is up too high again. Your line's perfect.
There's Andrew Carlson being told that your line is perfect. That's a pleasant thing to hear, isn't it? As he tries to get ahead of RJ Anderson, last year's Cup winner.
It's definitely what you want to hear, but it's a little frustrating too. If you're not catching the driver in front of you, you're getting information, you're nailing it, but you're not gaining. So that can be frustrating as well. But Andrew Carlson's a very calm, cool, and collected driver. Doesn't get super excited. You talk to him, very pleasant, but he drives right on that edge. He knows how to make it go, and just not able to put a lot of time on Anderson as we look at Adrian Cheney in the number 11 here.
He's another man who, well, spent his formative years in Wisconsin, was born in Durban in South Africa, but then moved to Wisconsin aged 14, and he's been racing off-road since 1999. We're back with Carlson now, running in fourth place, trying to close in on Anderson as you see a bit of debris and a bit of bodywork coming off the trucks as they swing up towards Cowboy Corner once more. There's Henderson taking a wide line through that curve. Back with Carlson now as he wrestles the truck in fourth position, and if anything, I think Cheney's closing in on him a little bit.
I agree with you. Known as the Wild Man, just one of the simply most aggressive drivers, not afraid to throw down, and Adrian Cheney has tons of talent, so Carlson's really got to pay attention to what he's doing, and that goes back to his spotter saying, hey, you've got perfect lines, but he's not catching RJ, and suddenly Cheney looks like he's catching up as we jump back to the front with Kyle LeDuc.
And no one is getting near Kyle LeDuc at the moment, are they? Absolutely dominant drive this. Superb performance from the 38-year-old from Beaumont in California. 2 times a Crandon World Cup winner, but his runs of 7 Pro 4 championships is really quite unbelievable. He's almost unbeatable, Cameron.
He is so stellar behind the wheel. He's absolutely amazing. His dad, Kurt LeDuc, a Hall of Famer, a Baja 1000 winner, a winner here at Crandon, and my partner actually for the Baja 1000 in our limited truck effort. But Kyle just comes from the lineage of greatness when it comes to off-road driving, and he has really stamped that LeDuc style on top of everything he does.
At the end of this lap, though, LeDuc's 5-second lead that he's built up over Greaves will be eliminated. They'll do the mandatory caution. Everybody will close in with each other again. He's getting right towards the bank on the inside of the long turn at the barn, and then down to the gravel pit once more. It's amazing how early the back ends come out when they chuck these trucks into the corners, Cam.
He is an ace when it comes to backing it in. The key here is, remember, you don't want to use that truck up. You don't want to land too hard like that. You don't want to hurt it. You need to win the entire race, not just to the mandatory caution, and then also the cup race later in the day. Both key points.
Inside, inside, inside. There's your mandatory. Don't stop yet. Now slow down. Now slow down.
Carlson just holds on to that 4th position then ahead of Cheney. Crucially important as we go into the mandatory caution now, Salema, with Kyle LeDuc leading the way.
Thank you, Jack. The Pro 4s are regrouping after that mandatory caution. Meanwhile, Kyle LeDuc captured yesterday's Course Series win. Can he hold off the others and take 2 back-to-back checkered flags? He has won here on a Sunday in 2009 as well as 2014 and would love to add a 3rd Crandon Championship Pro 4 win after getting knocked out of the race last year. RJ Anderson, CJ Greaves, Cole Mamer, and the rest of the drivers, they would like nothing more than to upset his chances. When we return, the Pace Truck will release the pack to an all-out race to the finish. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is the Crandon World Cup. The Pace Truck is about to release the Pro 4s after the mandatory caution. Kyle LeDuc leading the way, but Greaves and Anderson are chasing him down before the green flag drops. Let's check in with Tina Dixon.
And Jack, at the halfway mark, RJ Anderson just asked his spotter if he noticed a difference in the gravel pit. He said he drove it like a Pro 2, which is interesting because that's what he's been driving all year. Remember, his series doesn't have Pro 4, so this is his first time in that truck this season. He admitted earlier he's not as prepared as he should be, but the team did say they like what he did on that last lap.
Okay, so that's interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on RJ Anderson on this next run. There's so much time, Cameron, to be found in the different lines you're taking, and the track seems to always be changing as well.
Right, the track's coming in for some people and leaving their preferred style for others. So it's getting more blue groove, harder packed in that main racing line as we're on board with LeDuc, who will lead him into that green flag restart.
So there is Kyle LeDuc out in front. There goes the green flag. The racing gets back underway for the final 4 laps in the Pro 4 Championship. All about getting on the start list for the Crandon Cup later on. But it's LeDuc ahead of Greaves, ahead of Anderson. And the Cheney-Carlson battle is going to be one to watch out for as well, because they were really close over 4th position. And you can see all there up the inside goes Carlson. Anderson went a little bit wide into the gravel pit like he was just discussing with Tina a moment ago.
You got 4 on Anderson. You stayed right with them there on that line. You got to keep using that line.
Keep using that line is the message to Greaves.
On board with RJ looking back. Now, I saw when he was going into that gravel pit, just looked like he wasn't being as aggressive maybe, but maybe he drove it a little harder and a little deeper and wasn't able to rotate as early as Kyle and CJ were.
Coming down now towards Cowboy Corner, on board with the 3rd place man, RJ Anderson, last year's Crandon Cup winner.
See, you're right there. You're hanging with them. 10 cars, Anderson, no pressure.
You're hanging with them is the message to Anderson. Greaves being told that he's got no pressure from behind. Here come the top 2 again, up towards the barn, and LeDuc is ahead of Greaves. They are pulling away a little bit now from RJ Anderson. Greaves sticking with Leduc a little better this time than he did in the opening laps of the race. Oh.
And we've talked a little bit about Kyle's legendary dad. What about CJ's dad, a winner in the Pro Force and someone who is a wealth of information for CJ, and it's great to see them working together, although unfortunately Dad's not able to be here after a big crash.
Yeah, Johnny has won the Crandon World Cup twice, and now watching his son CJ out there racing hard as he takes a big jump over the start line to start a new lap. We go on board with him now. You see him steering with his left, using the gears on his right. Fascinating to see how hard these drivers are working throughout the race.
A comfortable driving position. He's going to reach up, grab a tear off. As we jump onto this battle, this is Adrian Cheney putting pressure on RJ Anderson's last year, the winner of the Cup race. And Cheney rotates down to the bottom. He's not going to have as good a run out, but oh, contact there between the two drivers down that front straight. They'll go into one with Anderson having a slight advantage.
Great fight for third position between last year's World Cup winner and the 2011 World Cup winner, Adrian Cheney. And he looks to the inside again as they come past the barn. If he can keep that there, he'll have the inside for the gravel pit as well. But Anderson's getting good drive off the corners, and Cheney can't find a way through yet. Again, differing lines into the gravel pit. Where's Cheney going to appear? Still just behind.
That's a better way around there, dude. Clear by 2 out the back.
I agree, that is a better way around, and that's Nick Greiner, who's the spotter, telling him he likes where he gets on that cushion. And CJ has rotated, come around.
Coming, cars coming, stay put. Man, I feel like we were right there by the end. We were, man. We had them. We were there. We were running the pace. Sorry about your luck, bud.
Well, they're talking about bad luck there for Greaves, so maybe that was a mechanical rather than a mistake himself. Here come this battle for second position now. Anderson and Cheney still side by side as they come down towards Cowboy Corner.
Let's see if Cheney tries to set up on that bottom once again. He did a huge rotation. He's taking a look down there. Let's see if he tries to rotate underneath Anderson, and he does. But he comes around a little too much, breaks traction. Anderson has a run.
Well, let's get more on the man that was in second place, CJ Greaves. Tina.
So CJ Greaves having some mechanical issues, but the day is not over for him. The team still has time to get that truck ready for the Cup race.
Still this battle going on for second place. Anderson holding it ahead of Cheney, but Cheney is doing everything he can to get past. Anderson is still holding the position.
And here they are, that gravel turn once again. Watch, he sets up wider. Anderson right on that outside edge by the cushion. He's going to get him a bit of a slingshot around the outside to outrun Cheney down into what will be the finish line right turn.
Really fantastic racing between these two. At some point, you think Cheney's got to try and take a different approach, doesn't he? Because Anderson keeps coming out on top whenever Cheney tries the low line.
Or take a chance, and Cheney comes around.
So Cheney spins out, was running in third place, battling for second, but just makes that mistake.
Front tire's not spinning there when he started to take off, it looked like, so maybe he lost his front wheel drive.
No such troubles, though, for Kyle Leduc, who is out in the lead of this one. Very, very strong, dominating performance, as you'd probably expect. Anderson and Cheney have been battling so hard for that second and third place. It's allowed Leduc to get away.
And he just looks so spot on, doesn't he? He just puts the truck wherever he wants to. He backs it in with total ease and comfort. He has 100% confidence no matter where he is on the track. And that's just one of the things about Kyle. It just, you can always count on him putting it right where he wants to and not being afraid to back it in and take control. And Kyle once again with another win. No huge surprise, but a great field to battle with him. Unfortunately, no one there at the end. Well, unfortunately for everybody else.
Yeah, Kyle Leduc isn't going to mind about that, is he? Because the checkered flag falls and he wins the Pro 4 Championship at Crandon 2020. Dominating drive. Second across the line is RJ Anderson, last year's Cup winner. And third in the end is Cole Mamer after the problems for Adrian Cheney. But what a performance from Kyle Leduc. That'll put him in the best possible spot for for the Cup race a little bit later on today. We won't have time to hear from Carl Leduc because these Pro 4 trucks have got to be turned around so quickly for the next race. But he wins the Pro 4 championship, Salema.
Thank you, Jack. Kyle Leduc, this guy is on a roll, winning his class both yesterday and today, but now he and his team must prepare for the quick turnaround for the Crandon Cup race. Remember, the Pro 2s will have a time delay head start with the Pro 4s then on the chase. They not only must battle amongst themselves, but they're going to need to navigate and weave through the pack of Pro 2s if they hope to bring home the Cup. 29 trucks will line up between the two classes for the main event. The green flag is going to drop shortly, so we're going to throw it over to Tina Dixon for a quick update.
Thanks, Salema. Keegan, first race, just tell us how that went for you.
Yeah, first race Sunday was a difficult one for us. We got a good hole shot. Doug was in front of us. I think it was me and Jarrett just got together a little bit, and it was enough to cut the tire. And time I got that thing changed and got into the pits and ended up having a brake line issue too. So we ended up just having to pull it off and saving the truck. And hopefully we can get a decent hole shot here. I know we're going to be in the back now because just the way things happen. But hopefully we can get out with those guys, run with them for a while, and just see what happens. So.
How do you get refocused knowing you don't have the best starting position?
Yeah, it's difficult. You know what I mean? It's racing. It's part of it. You never know what's going to happen. That's why it's raced, and that's why we're going to race this Cup race. You know, we still got there's a shot, a little bit slimmer chance now that we got to start in the back, but we're ready. We're ready to lay down the line and go out and hopefully put this Vision Wheel Cooper tire truck, give us a shot to put on top of the podium.
It was a real shame to see local boy Kincaid out so soon in the Pro 2s earlier, but we've still got the Cup race to come. One man who had very little trouble earlier on, despite issues with his spotter radio, was Doug Mittag. He took the whole shot and the win, and now he's with Tina.
And now you'll have another chance to get the whole shot in the Cup race, leading in those Pro 2s with those Pro 4s chasing behind you. What's that mindset like?
Yeah, the Cup race, this is my second one in a Pro 2 with the Pro 4s chasing us. And it's an interesting feeling. You're like, even if you're in the lead, you know that they're coming. So you're pushing hard the whole time, and I think that's the biggest thing for us is making sure we get out front and just kind of like try to walk away with it, kind of like we did in the last race. But even that last race, I kind of mellowed out where there's no mellowing out when you're racing the Pro 4s. And I've been in the other situation where I've raced Pro 4s and we catch them pretty quick. And so it's going to be kind of, I hope they get the timing dialed to where it's a good race at the end, and we'll do our best to just keep picking away laps and staying out front and in the clean air.
And you have the truck to help you do that. Obviously put a lot of hard work into it. How would you say it's running right now?
Yeah, truck has been dialed basically all weekend. The only thing we've done is we've changed the gearing twice. So after today, I mean, I'm pretty sure we had the top mile per hour out of all the Pro 2s, and we have, it looks like the best setup. So the guys at Maxxis are going to give us the same tires, and we're just going to clean it off, basically go over everything and leave the truck the same.
Mittag is feeling confident, isn't he? After that first race, he really dominated, and if he can keep it clean in the Cup race, he really has a shot at the World Cup. So whilst Mittag will look to repeat, some of the drivers will be looking for a change in their fortune for the Cup race. Tina.
Here with Andrew Carlson. And Andrew, how are you feeling after those earlier races?
Good, it was all right. Yeah, we had a bad time, a little bad luck, so still struggling with some mechanicals from last night that we never really got fixed. But yeah, we're gunning for the big one in the big show. So you know, gonna be giving it everything we got. We're gonna leave it all out there. So feel really good in the truck. It's just need to get up front and run some clean laps. So feel like we're getting good starts, and we're hooking up when we're full power. So we just got to get it figured out. The boys are working hard, and you know, this is our year to prove it. So I'm excited. Travis has been running good, so I'm ready to put Team Yokohama on top. So it's gonna be a good one.
The drivers and crews now all scrambling to get these trucks ready. Pro 2s will line up for the start with Pro 4s ready to chase for what will be the ultimate short course off-road race, the Crandon Cup. Who will be the 2020 champion? You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series and the Big House from Crandon, Wisconsin. Described as the holy grail of off-road short course truck racing, it is the highlight each year on every driver's calendar. East against West. Survive the whole shot and know that an onslaught of the top drivers with different driving styles and powertrains four-wheel drives, chasing two-wheel drives, have you in their crosshairs for the next 9 grueling laps. Nothing else is on the line. This is not about seasonal points or championships. It comes down to mere bragging rights, a championship ring, cash, and of course, the hoisting of the coveted Crandon Cup.
The Crandon World Cup is kind of a chess match. You want to obviously whole shot your class and be the lead Pro 4, but even at that point, you're racing your own class, the best in the world in Pro 4s, and you got to pass 20 of the best guys in Pro 2 in front of you.
If I'm pulling the whole shot, man, it's just run away and hide.
It's gonna be gnarly going in that first turn at 100 miles per hour, door to door. Keep it smooth, keep it steady, don't take yourself out.
You kind of pick through the back of the pack. Some guys fall out, obviously. But when you get to the front, you're passing guys that are going for 50 grand.
I will not hold back. I will go for a victory. Second place is pointless to me.
I think the competition level is going to be really strong, so it's good to have that, and that means more rewarding for whoever wins.
That's always the thing here at Crandon. You get guys coming out of the woodwork, coming out to race, and a lot of heavy hitters.
There's so many ways to make passes. There's so many ways to mess up, to make mistakes. There's so many variables. That gives someone like me, who isn't as consistent, who doesn't have as much experience, it makes it a possibility. 1 in a million, baby. Let's get this win.
We've won a cup race in Pro 2 here at Crandon before, and when you get out front, you just run like a scared little puppy, and you just go, go, go.
The Pro 4s start making that time up faster and faster, so the gap goes from really big, and right at the end, it closes really fast.
Seems like it always comes down to that last lap where the Pro 2 and the Pro 4 come together.
Last year, we were able to bring home the Cup, the 50th, the big dog. I want to stamp it. I want to not leave any doubt in anyone's mind that we're here to battle the best, and we're going to give it our all.
Well, fighting talk there from RJ Anderson as he looks to win the Crandon Cup for the 2nd year in a row. He's going to have his work cut out, though, if he wants to beat Kyle LeDuc in the Pro 4s. They'll be leaving the start line about 30 seconds after the Pro 2s, who you can see lining up here. Doug Mittag on the far left-hand side. McCachran, Winner, and Kleiman are alongside him. Really looking forward to this final Crandon Cup race of the day. Let's get an update on the conditions with Tina Dixon.
And guys, at this point, the cushion has been pushed way to the top, and we're going to see those Pro 2s chasing the cushion for traction, leaving that inside line open. So as those Pro 4s come chasing down, look for those big passes to be made on the bottom in that inside line.
Here we go then. The Crandon Cup is about to get underway. The Pro 2s will be starting first. Doug Mittag is going to be out there. Travis Pastrana is going to be out there. This is going to be a fascinating race, Cameron.
Absolutely, and with the Pro 4s having about a 3-second a lap advantage, the gap should be right around 30 seconds as the Pro 2s get set for their land rush start.
All of the trucks charging down towards the first corner. They'll be doing almost 100 miles an hour by the time they swing it into that right-hander. All of them about to do battle. You can see the Pro 4s lined up behind, but it'll be the two-wheel drive trucks that will head off first when the green flag falls and the 2020 Crandon Cup is underway. Who's going to get the whole shot? It's a pretty decent effort from Corey Winner. Wow, look, he's way ahead of Mittag already by the time they come into turn 1. Brilliant start, and Mittag is getting bogged down in the midfield.
Yeah, Rob Mack had advantage over Mittag as well, and it's going to be Corey Winner, as I said, coming back after a broken back earlier this year. He is going to lead around that barn turn for the first time into the gravel pit. Let's see if Rob Mack tries to make an aggressive move to try to move to the front as the Pro 4s are now off.
Good start from RJ Anderson in the 37 there over on the right-hand side, but Kyle LeDuc has come with him, and it is LeDuc who gets the whole shot. Anderson slots into that second position as they come up towards the barn turn for the first time. We're riding with Kyle LeDuc as he swings it into the left-hander. Some big air there in third position, but that's exactly the kind of start you would expect really from LeDuc.
What I expect here also is maybe a more aggressive drive from RJ Anderson. He had a great drive to second in the qualifying race, or in the cup race previous when it was only the Pro 4s. We'll see if he's a little more aggressive now as we go back to the Pro 2s leading the race. That is Corey Winner, followed by Rob McCachran. They're going into Cowboy Corner, renamed recently after Cowboy, who was the staging man for seemingly forever here at Crandon. He has passed away in the last year, and therefore the renaming of that turn.
There's Kyle LeDuc leading the Pro 4s at the moment, sprinting clear, and we'll soon start to see him trying to weave his way through the Pro 2 traffic, and how quickly he deals with them will be a big part of whether he can get to the front as he comes up to Cowboy Corner now, with Anderson in behind. A little look towards the inside from Greaves, but here are the top two in the race overall, and also currently in the Pro 2s. And there we've got trouble for Ross Hoke. He is in big trouble at Cowboy Corner. Looks like he's come to a halt there, so he's out of the running, but Winner still ahead of McCachran. What happened here? Whoa!
He had a tumble. He went to set up, and it looked like he caught the outside as he started his rotation, and tossed him over. Unfortunate for Ross, one of the good guys of short course off-road racing.
But out in front of the overall race lead and the Pro 2s at the moment is number 67 there, Corey Winner, the 22-year-old whose dad, Dave, was a desert racer, started his racing career in the 1990s, and Winner is leading the way. Third is Mittag, and the hood is almost going over the windshield there, and we know he had intermittent spotter problems earlier on. The radio was cutting in and out, and I think the last thing he needs is even less visibility out there, Cameron.
Certainly is. Not being able to see is definitely a problem. Not having anyone to talk to, also a problem. I had that same issue with my hood rolling my truck over last week, and look at this. Speaking of rolling over, Bob Brand has inverted. Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened there in Cowboy Corner. Dives in. Oh, it doesn't really look like an edge catch, although it was a little bit of a weird inversion. We'll see if we can get him righted and keep racing. Like I said, I flipped my truck just a little bit ago and had the hood up and over. It's tough to see. We'll see if Mittag can battle through that as Winner continues to lead.
Yeah, good stuff here from Corey Winner. We've got McCachran in second place still, Mittag with the hood up in third spot. And then Kyle Leduc is starting to come through the Pro 2s at the moment as Winner swings it around the left. McCachran's not letting him get away, but also he's not putting him under a huge amount of pressure just yet. Still in the early stages of this race, a long way to go, but with no mandatory caution, you need to try and keep as close to the leader as you can, I suppose.
For sure, you want to keep the leader right there, but it's got to be a little frustrating for McCachran. He knows the fours are going to be coming, and here's the yellow flag out to try to clear the track. Wow, Mittag's windscreen really just covered so hard for him to see. The good news is predominantly left turns, except for here in one, so he's going to have to be careful and stay away from that wall.
Corey Winner swings it through the right-hander once again with McCachran closing in. Mittag there still in third. Then there's a little bit of a gap back to Kleiman running in fourth. At the moment, Deegan is ahead of Pastrana in their battle over their $1. Deegan running in sixth position, Pastrana running in eighth. But here's Kyle Leduc now carving through the Pro 2s. And how important is it that he gets through these drivers as quickly as possible?
It's important, but I mean, at the same time, he should be able to pick different lines really easily. He wants to get to the front as quick as possible, but not with risking his vehicle. And you can see the Pro 2s, they kind of have to run it, I call it like more of a ballet move, where they have to stay right on the edge of that cushion. Most of them will all travel in about the same line, where the Pro 4s can really redirect. Watch them dive to the inside, redirect on the 23, and just take the line. Having all four wheels spinning is a huge advantage. Obviously, we talked about 3 seconds a lap faster than the Pro 2s. The Pro 2s just have to have a solid run and be able to keep trying to stay forward of Leduc, but that's going to be a tough order.
Let's check in with Tina Dixon.
And guys, we're just getting word that CJ Greaves does have a flat tire, so his day is done. Some more tough luck for him. Now, CJ also said he thinks RJ Anderson is going to win this thing. But right now, RJ is not making any noise up front, so maybe he's seeing something we're not. Either way, there's still a lot of racing to be had.
There certainly is. Corey Winner looking comfortable at the front of the pack, but the Pro 4s are on the hunt. Led by Kyle Leduc, RJ Anderson coming with him. 7 laps to go in determining a 2020 Cup winner. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is the Crandon Cup, heading into lap 5 of 10, and all eyes are on the Pro 2 truck of Corey Winner, who is currently out in front. But the rest of the pack, including the Pro 4s, led by Kyle Leduc, have Winner in their sights. Currently in 12th, Leduc and the others continue to weave through the chaos in the remaining laps to overtake the Pro 2s. There is Winner out in front in the Pro 2s, just ahead of McCachran, and there is Kyle Leduc swinging through the right-hander at the final corner, trying to make progress up the order, and he's taken a few places on that lap as well, so he's now in 11th position. This is Travis Pastrana, who's running in 9th spot.
They're starting to get way further to the right, getting into this corner right here, up on the bankment a little bit. Turn it down, there's Deegan. Come on, carry the momentum, carry the momentum.
So fascinating, Cameron, hearing Travis Pastrana's spotter.
Wants to carry that speed. He wants him to try to bring it through that section and then carry it through the corners. Momentum is the key to so much when it comes to racing, especially when we're talking about braking traction and tires spinning. So carrying that momentum is going to give you more acceleration on the back end.
Fantastic action as we are now in the second half of the race. And there is Corey Winner, and there's the attack from McCachran. He's getting really, really close now. It was fairly steady, the gap in the early stages, but Rob McCachran now really putting the pressure on Winner.
This is a tight battle. Mittag right in the mix as well. Here's a look at Adrian Cheney catching the outside and going for a tumble. That's a triple. It looks like that's a tough one. And with all the safety equipment, hopefully everything's okay. We'll get an update for you in just a moment on that as we go to Kyle Leduc working his way through the field. Once again, he is caught up to former freestyle motocross champion Brian Deegan. You see Deegan tries to move to that side a little bit, realizes he's there. Look at that, just cutting, dicing down to the bottom, backing it in, and then out accelerating Deegan. 3 seconds a lap is quite a bit when you start going back through the corners. A half second here, half second there. And the rotation Kyle puts into is just absolutely phenomenal. Here through the yellow flag section, Cheney there still. But Leduc able to open a pretty good sized gap on Deegan so far, as Winner still has 2 or 3 car lengths on McCachran, which means he can drive the line he wants, but he's got to be careful because McCachran can sneak in there and try to strike.
Doug Mittag is in there as well in the white car in 3rd position, because he was the man who won the Pro 2 championship earlier on. Back to Leduc as he tries to make his way up the order. He's got Beaton Kleiman in front of him now that he's trying to pass as he hugs that inside line. But here we go for the lead overall and in the Pro 2s. It is Winner who has lost the lead now. McCachran is up in front, Winner in 2nd, and Mittag is trying to take that place away. So Rob McCachran hits the front.
The legend gets to that pole position. Kyle Leduc still chasing, and he is making work of those 2-wheel drives as he has made it past.
Still there, still there, still there.
McCachran spotter. And Winner not giving up. He is giving McCachran everything he can take. McCachran wants to turn down into him. Look at this. Mittag's going to go around the outside. He may have advantage here and a run. The other 2 trucks getting into each other, slowing each other down. Here comes Mittag on the inside of one. McCachran trying to out-drag race him, but Mittag has the inside. Look at this. Winner sneaks back by, and he's going to control in the barn turn. Jack, that is some phenomenal racing.
Absolutely amazing stuff, and Mittag is in the lead, Salema.
Thank you, Jack. With 6 laps completed, the Pro 4s led by Kyle Leduc are breathing down the necks of the Pro 2s. We love that. Can Leduc overtake Mittag and Winner in these remaining laps and complete his dominance of Pro 4 wins across the weekend? Who's going to raise this cup and become the 2020 Crandon Cup champion? We're going to find out shortly. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series, lap 7 of the Crandon Cup here at the Big House in northern Wisconsin. Both classes of trucks racing head-to-head with the gap closing fast. Pro 4 leader Kyle Leduc in the 99 is in the hunt for the lead, passing Rob McCachran and trying to find his move around Pro 2 leaders Corey Winner and Doug Mittag. Here they come out over the line to start lap 8 now, and there is Leduc in the 99 in the Pro 4 round the outside of Corey Winner. He's surely going to hit the front soon, Cameron.
Definitely. He's going to pay quick attention here to where he sets up, or where Mittag sets up, and then he's gonna go somewhere else. Look at that, to the bottom, able to control it. Doesn't get too greedy though. He knows he's got a couple laps to go. I suspect he's gonna set up a little different than Mittag will here as we go into Cowboy Corner. And here comes RJ Anderson into the mix.
So he's going past McCachran then and moving up into third spot. So very, very tight up at the front. It's fourth, my apologies. He's still got to try and get past Corey Winner. So Mittag it is leading the way. Leduc has got up into second place now, has dropped back a little from Mittag on that last run through.
I'm wondering if there's something wrong here with Leduc. He's off pace. Winner's looking for a way around. Oh, maybe not. There he goes. He's definitely dropped back a bit from Mittag. He was right there.
Keep an eye on the pace as the rest of the race unfolds, leaning on the truck through the right-hander, and there's the look again, right with Mittag. Mittag holds the lead, but it's a long way to go for him to try and hold off that Pro 4 truck behind. They're about 3 seconds a lap quicker, as Cam mentioned earlier on, but Mittag is still holding on up at the front, across the line again to start another lap. Mittag on the inside, but Leduc around the outside, and he's into the lead of the Crandon Cup.
A spectacular effort by Mittag, but Kyle was going to make that way through there, and I thought Kyle did a great job being calm, cool, and collected. He didn't get too excited passing for the lead. He knew he had some time. He's also paying attention. I'm sure his spotter's letting him know how far back RJ Anderson is.
Oh.
And look at this. We got a problem. Leduc has fire underneath his car and smoke, obviously. He's going to pull in right where there's a crew. And that's going to do it for Leduc. Mittag back to the front.
Leduc pulls straight off and is out of the running. So Mittag leads. Anderson now in second position. Absolute drama for Kyle Leduc, who looked to have it all sewn up. He just hit the front, and now he is out of the race. And there goes RJ Anderson into the lead. Tina.
RJ Anderson starting to make his move, and his spotter is telling him, just keep putting laps together. Keep it clean, make no mistakes, be patient, hit your marks, but basically just keep putting those laps together.
So RJ Anderson, the winner last year, is now out in front again, ahead of Doug Mittag. This is a really, really good drive, and so much of it is just keep going, isn't it? It's so difficult out there to even make the end of these races, but RJ Anderson is doing it superbly.
I was saying you have to save that truck to be there at the end, and one thing I really liked about RJ Anderson's move was he got underneath Mittag in the barn turn, and then he let his truck open up just a little bit, and it looked to me like he pushed Mittag into that loam just a bit, which caused him to slow down just a hair, and RJ could just make that pass nice and smooth. You see him catch that bump going into Cowboy Corner, but able to maintain it.
RJ Anderson then comfortably out in front. Doug Mittag a long way further back. Last year, he went on to win the Crandon World Cup, having finished second in the Pro 4 race earlier on, and it looks as though history is going to repeat itself. He was runner-up to Kyle Leduc last year in the Pro 4 Championship, but he's going to win this one again by the looks of things. This has been such an impressive run all day, really, from RJ Anderson, Cameron.
For sure. I mean, he's been spot on and saved his truck. Like you said, he finished on the podium 2 times over the weekend before this big cup race, but he kept his vehicle alive, didn't risk it, and it's all because he wanted to get to this last turn, throw it in sideways, and be there first for the checkers and the glory back-to-back at Crandon.
RJ Anderson, the 2020 Crandon World Cup winner for the second year in a row. Absolutely superb drive. He is going to be elated with that victory, and 2 in a row at Crandon is something quite impressive. And look, he can barely believe it, can he?
The excitement will be huge. He is known for his celebration, but he's also a cool customer, and that's going to be a very meaningful moment for him.
Pulls off his helmet. You can see that smile will be super wide as he comes out of the car. He almost can't believe it himself, can he, as he hauls himself out of the truck. A good performance from Doug Mittag, finishing in second position in the Pro 2 truck as well. But there is RJ Anderson, a pat on top, and he is going to be absolutely over the moon with back-to-back Crandon World Cup wins. Superb drive. Thanks the team, thanks his spotter, and these are the final standings. Anderson taking the win, Mittag in second, Cole Mamer in the end inheriting a third position, Ryan Beat and Kyle Kleiman completing the top 5. But let's hear now from race winner, Crandon World Cup champion of 2020, RJ Anderson. Tina.
And RJ's strategy of consistent laps paid off once again. In fact, this is the first time, RJ, you've raced this Pro 4 this season. How would you describe your emotion right now?
Let's party, Crandon! Woo! Man, these Crandon World Cups are hard to win one day. To come back here to Crandon and go back-to-back is just basically almost impossible to do. I come out here kind of as the underdog in the Pro 4 class, especially not racing all year long. So came out here, just kind of learned and saved my truck. Didn't use it up all in those first 2 races and just slowly learned. And man, I just got to thank my team. They gave me an awesome truck. Come out here from California to put on a show in front of these fans. There's no place in the world like Crandon, so thank you, Cliff, for putting this on for us. Polaris Razor, South Point, BF Goodrich Tires, Walker Evans Racing, Rigid K&N. The list goes on. Thank you guys for letting me do what I love. And man, back to back, baby.
Well, back-to-back Crandon Cup wins for RJ. Salema.
Exciting racing all day long, and the battle between the classes certainly did not disappoint. Congratulations to RJ Anderson for pulling off the repeat and becoming the 2020 Crandon World Cup champion. Huge props to Doug Mittag, delivering a Pro 2 to the podium, and Cole Mamer for rounding out in his Pro 4. Defending Crandon Cup champion RJ Anderson reached the podium for the Pro 4 races, but fell short of the top spot after chasing Kyle LeDuc all weekend. LeDuc pretty much looked uncatchable and swept the Pro 4 races. However, Anderson never gave up and chased down the Pro 2s until he finally passed Doug Mittag with 2 laps to go, and that was a wrap. It's been a long journey since he started racing trophy carts here years ago, and to top that off, he hasn't raced his Pro 4 truck this 2020 season, but now RJ Anderson joins an elite group of back-to-back champions and therefore gets our signature moment. The Red Bull Signature Series remains in the heartland, traveling just south to an undisclosed location in Kansas for an inaugural freestyle motocross event that is the vision of X Games gold medalist Tyler Berriman. Forget what you have witnessed in the past. This course redefines freestyle motocross and reinforces the adage that if you build it, they will come and they will go big. Look for Red Bull Imagination coming soon. Once again, thanks for joining us today. On behalf of our entire crew, including Jack Nichols, Cameron Steele, and Tina Dixon, my name is Salema Masakela, and we will see you next time.